Hello, and I am so sorry for coming in so late. You know, family life happened, my baby couldn't sleep, and I was doing a whole bunch of other preparations. So, anyway, welcome to the day two of Create Your Dream Life in 2025. My name is Lydia, and for those who have waited, I apologize, but here I am. And if you missed the live session, don't worry, you'll be able to catch the replay, which I have put the link on my bio on Instagram. But anyway, when I'm posting stories, I'll be filling in all the links so you can click on it anyways. So I'm very excited over here to be sharing with you the part two to mindset success. And yesterday we talked about, okay, yes, I'm aware that I have a mindset block, and so what's going to happen next, right? So everything, as I mentioned yesterday, it starts off with the ABC. A being awareness, B being belief, okay, and C being change. You cannot get to change if number one, you are not aware about it, and number two is you do not believe that there is a problem. So many people, they can be aware about the problem, they are aware, but they don't know what to do about it, and they are still stuck. And that is actually an even more difficult position to be in as compared to totally being unaware, right? It's like if you're unaware that you have a problem, your head is in the sand like an ostrich and you're not aware. But if you are aware that, okay, I know this thought is sabotaging me because I get triggered when I see other people going for their dreams, and I question myself, like, why am I not able to be there? So when you are in that cusp, like CUSP, cusp, in between of the awareness, but you're not able to get to change, then there comes in these steps that I'm going to share with you in today's session. So let me just do a recap of what we covered yesterday. I just want to reiterate that whatever that I am sharing is completely unrehearsed. No life is exactly the same because I do not rehearse my script. I do not rehearse my script. So if you feel that I'm giving like you this pure energy, because yes, I want to come in and say everything that I truly am connected with. So of course I get the pointers down somewhere. Of course I know at the back of my head, I kind of know roughly what I'm going to say, but it is completely unrehearsed. And I find like that is the best energy that I want to give to the audience, you, who's ever watching me, because again, like, something very interesting was that when I actually checked my views, it was about close to like 470 views. I asked myself, like, where are these people coming from? Because I'm not posting on stories. In fact, like, just now I only managed to do the teaser for like what happened yesterday. Like, I was also busy, not right now, I not just have one account, but I'm toggling between two IG businesses. So it is really leaning back and trusting that the right people will come in and recognize me for what they need from me, right? It's not just about like in previous lives or previous webinars, I did like feel that pressure to like, oh, who's watching me, I don't know who's watching me, I don't know. And I realized that it's best when we just let the universe do its work. So this is one very important factor that I want to send out, that we have to have this trust and belief, which again ties into yesterday, whatever I was talking about mindset. Like, I have the mindset that I trust that the message will be sent to whoever who needs this. All right, and that I don't have to like push and hustle and like be fighting for this and pay for ads, which I absolutely do not do. Okay, everything that I do is completely organic, and so I didn't do that. And this is what I mean about the second root about creating your own dreams, which is it gets to be easy, it gets to be effortless, because it is your energy that is sending through to other people. Okay, so recap that your mindset plays a bigger role in your success than you think, and this is one factor that people don't talk about a lot right now. Especially if you open your phone on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, everybody's talking about 1001 strategies to make your shit happen, or like, this is what you gotta do, like A to Z. right? But nobody actually emphasizes enough in mindset. And after I went through my own experience, in order to see that the mindset was actually the biggest gap to to close up between where I am and where I want to be, then I was like, oh wow, mindset is really really important. And in fact, if I were to do a weightage of ratio between 60-40, honestly, mindset first, actions later. Okay, mindset first, action later. But nowadays people want fast action, they want results, right? We live in this generation of like where everybody wants like fast results and immediate, right? Immediate gratification that if I post this like within the next 12 hours I must see likes, and then you'll be like, like furiously checking your phone after that. But everything, by not having the right mindset, actually leads to lack of sustainability, which means that everything has to be forced, everything has to be pushed, everything has to be hustling, right? You can be that mother, or okay, let's give you many scenarios. You can be that manager who is pushing every single employee. Why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing that? I see that you did not give that report like at 9 a.m. You actually gave it at 9:01 9:01 a.m. And then and back home you are controlling and micromanaging because you feel that everything has to be pushed, everything has to have you even intervene. And it actually leads to a lack of sustainability because you are not able to function at your best. You come off you put a lot of unnecessary pressure on the people around you, whether it's your family, loved one, or your colleagues. And it is a lot of forcing, which means that if you do not force, things don't happen, right? If you do not force, things don't happen. So hard work, forcing, manipulation, control, planning, incremental. And what do I mean by incremental? It means that everything has to be step by step. Everything has to be like, okay, this year I shall go for like, for example, bronze, and next year I think I shall go for silver. But there can never be a breakthrough to get you from bronze to like gold, right? That will actually save you tons of time, tons of energy, and tons of repeated experiences. Okay, and the second route that I just now mentioned, which is what I embodied in the way how I show up to be checking on my views. I at the back of my mind, like I was thinking, should I check my views yesterday? In fact, yesterday after I posted the live, I actually just like went to sleep. I went to bed because I knew that I needed to have lots of energy to show up for my final day. And that is one thing that I do not want to compromise in, which is the energy that I'm sending out to whoever that's watching me, because you spend your time listening to me talk. You spend your time here, like whether you are on the train or on the bus or like driving your car. You spend your precious time, every eyeball, every minute, every second that people spend with you, you're gonna make it valuable. So I want to make sure that I channel the best energy that I can have for you. And that's why I told myself that I'm not gonna obsess about posting and like making sure that my video floats up, like tagging a ton of people or putting it in groups. No, because I trust that will be done at universe timing, right? So that's what I mean by there's trust, faith, belief, the belief in timing. And sometimes when people watch your video like today, they don't get it, but 6 months later they'll be like, oh damn, she said some nuggets of wisdom, which I have that people like coming to me a lot. So I mentioned yesterday in yesterday's example, there was a double yesterday. I mentioned in the example that there was this client. She was with me for 1 month trial, and she messaged me to say that the video that you gave me last May. And I was like, wow, last May. I remember like, wow, what was I doing? My baby was only 5 months or 6 months, and I actually did a video masterclass about like Gold Star support, because that was like the biggest improvement that I had at that moment in time. And she shared with me, and she said that I'm like re-listening to it, and like now it's January 2025. So she was actually re-listening to a video that I actually recorded in May. So this is what I mean by trusting universe, alignment, and timing. And that actually comes with the second way of creating our dream life, which is effortless, a byproduct of who you are. Right? A byproduct of who you are. Results can only come as a byproduct of who you are. And because exactly it's a byproduct of who you are, it becomes very like natural. It's just like, it's very natural for a flower to bloom when you water it. It's very natural for a flower to bloom when you water it, you give it sunlight, you give it air, and it will be able to come to fruition. So the same thing is that you have to match your reality with your belief system. And this is what I'm going to cover in today. Like, okay, yes, Lydia, you mentioned to me that I have a mindset block. I think I do have a mindset block. What am I going to do about it? Right? Because again, A, B, C, if you get to get the awareness, but you don't know what to do in the B and the C, then you will never be able to get to the change, which is the juicy part. Right? The transformation is in fact the juicy part, because you will start to see your reality shift. You see the way people speak to you is different. You see the way you show up is different. Results come to you differently, and you're like, oh, I didn't realize that people always wanted to help me in the past, but it was me blocking. I didn't realize that it was so easy for me to create new income streams when I thought that in the past I only had one way, because I shifted my belief to allowing myself to receive money in all directions, right? So one is of course easier long term, but it takes slow results. Okay, it takes slower, it takes a lot of inner work. But the other one is whatever that you see on the outside is like boom boom pow, the results that people awards and achievement, and then after that the next year they will have to repeat that same cycle over again. So I bring you to an analogy of a tree, yeah. Okay, an analogy of a tree where the fruits, the flowers, the branches, the leaves are exactly on what you see on the outside. So a tree can be so it can look so magnificent, 茂盛, in Chinese saying, it can look so magnificent on the outside. But if there's fruits, juicy fruits on it hanging, right? But that is the outer world, that is the results, that is what the nice things that we wear, the image that we bring to the outside world. Okay, but if in our inner world, our belief system, our thoughts and our feelings is not deeply rooted and connected to what we want on the outside, the roots become very shaky. So what happens, if you think about it, what happens when the roots become very shaky is that if there's a thunderstorm, if there's a tornado, if there is a hurricane, it will blow the tree right off. Right? Because the roots are not strong. The roots is not deeply entrenched in the roots to be entrenched in the soil to be able to withstand the pressure of the hurricane, of the tornado, of the storm. And the analogy of the storm, it means crisis in life. It means breakdowns. It means that one day you lose all your money. Are you able to recreate the same amount of money and even more and even easier than what you had? If there's a sudden sickness, right? Because maybe you are someone that you have a lot of blockages in health. If you experience sudden sickness for 3 months, you can't work. How are you going to be able to get back on your feet? So the thunderstorm that I'm referring to are crisis in life, negative events. When people talk about breakdowns, losing all their money, they're stuck in a shithole, they can't get themselves up. And that is when the test of how strong your roots are come in the picture. So again, if your belief, your thoughts and your feelings is not anchored strong in the root, in the soil, you're gonna fall off. Okay, somebody's gonna say something nasty to you and it's going to throw you off for the next 2 weeks, or you're gonna get triggered by your spouse at home because they don't give me the support that I need, and then in the end you stop your work completely, or you lose that belief that you have in yourself, right? Because especially in whatever we do, self-belief is vital. Okay, whether you're employed or unemployed or whatever, okay, but self-belief is vital. And if you do not trust in what you are doing, if you do not trust in the universe, you don't trust in timing, there will never be the fruits that you're looking for. Okay, so mindset is 60 and action is 40, right? Belief links to thoughts, feelings, actions and results. Whether it is on my social media page where I offer my one-to-one coaching services for Instagram revamp, or IG classes which I would like to launch soon, or whether it is on about mindset success, I still talk about the same thing, that belief, okay, creates your thoughts, creates your feelings, creates actions, and creates results. So again, just giving you the example, which I don't need to repeat, about the close to 500 views that I had without zero posting. I basically just posted my video up live, and I just shut my computer. I didn't even do an engagement with anybody, okay, because I just wanted to conserve the energy, and I wanted to give it a shot. Like, I'm gonna trust in the timing that whoever that's meant to receive this will receive this, okay, because the eye only sees what the mind is prepared to comprehend. If you tell yourself that the world is giving me problems, yes, you will always pick problems, right? If you tell yourself that nobody is perfect except me, or like the world cannot function without me, the home cannot function without me, the workplace, my team cannot function without me, you will always see your colleagues not being able to produce good work. You will always see and nitpicking at home because like the house cannot function without you, or like I have to be the what examples, but I think those are very two good examples, right? The eye only sees what the mind is prepared to comprehend. So if your mind actually has that belief already, you are just looking for confirmation with your eyes. So many people always trying to trust what they see on the outside, validation, confirmation bias, validation, looking for external validation, not knowing that they have already cast in stone in mind what they wanted to believe. And they're just looking at, right, ego, right? They're just looking around for things on the outside to prove that they are right. So something that can appear out of nowhere, something that can be seen as like maybe your colleague didn't do their work properly due to an accident that they had the night before. To you, you will take it as a message to nobody does the work as good as me, right? When actually there is another reasoning, there is another belief, there is another factor in that they are not able to do the work because they were involved in an accident the night before. But because your eye wants to believe what your heart thinks, okay, the ego, okay, we talk about the ego is always the biggest block to you manifesting, right? And if the point where you now are not able to release that ego, you'll never be able to get to the other side, or you just kind of only have a taste of success, but you won't be able to savor the fruits that you truly deserve. Oh, thank you, Terence. Okay, so and we talk about mindset between lack and abundance, right? Okay, what is lack mindset? There's not enough to go around. I need more. If someone else has it, I can't have it, right? They talk about the reservoir being like, if somebody has that sale, it means that there won't be enough for me. I have to choose. I have to do everything but myself. But you see, everything in this world, there's always black and white, good or bad. And or exactly on the other side, you can have an abundant thought, right? So such as like there's not enough to go around. Looking at that, right, what if we think about it as there will always be more than enough. There will always be abundant. Right? Money is always abundant. Hey, if she can have success, so can I. Hey, if she can make it to number one, to be the number one sales producer, so can I. Instead of seeing it as, oh, she's number one, so I'll never get there. If she's able to have the success of a successful family, so can I. Instead of being triggered, we get inspired because we realize that it actually exists in reality, right? If I have to choose, I can have it all. If I have to choose versus I get to have it all. I have to do it all by myself versus I am always supported. So what is truly the mindset that you have? And we realize that because we are brought up in a lack society, it is a lack society, right? Everything is based on fear, scarcity. It's only, right, fear, scarcity. If she is number one, I will only be number two. We can never enjoy the same success. So when it comes to how do awareness show up? Okay, I do this in my skits. Okay, if you saw my Instagram, I had so much fun in last quarter actually doing skits when I was like role playing. Okay, it always comes through in triggers. Well, how does trigger feel? Right? How does trigger feel? It feels very icky. It feels very nasty. It feels like there's somebody trying to control you. It feels nasty. It feels very uncomfortable. But exactly these are triggers. These are point of contrast because there is a subconscious part of you that actually wants to believe in that. but there's something blocking you. And your job to get from, not say failure, to get to from where you are at right now to where you want to be, is this river of change. Is this river where triggers are going to show up, point of contrast are going to show up. It's going to be full of feeling that ickiness, and like, it's so difficult to look away. But this is exactly the point where you have to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, like, what is blocking me? Because when you are able to have that authentic honesty with yourself, your soul, okay, that is when you'll be able to, again, like what I said, flip it from a lack mindset to an abundant mindset. So normally a lot of people, when we have triggers, we feel very uncomfortable, we take it personally, we say, how can that person do that to me? I feel so upset, I feel so hurt. And much less it is always somebody that's close to us, somebody close to us, like in our relationship. It can be a parent, it can be our child really triggers us, because it triggers back to an uncomfortable memory that we had in the past. So the only point is that, what do you do about awareness? What do you do about triggers? Do you look away? Okay, and here I'm going to give you the 4 steps. Number 1, there has to be awareness. There has to be that, being detached from that feeling, being detached from that situation. And this actually requires deep work, because it's difficult to do it. Like feelings of rejection, feelings of jealousy, of envy, it's not easy to overcome. But it's through a lot of journaling, meditation, breathwork, and somatic breathwork, whatever that modality that you decide to choose, okay, you have to release that emotional blockage, because otherwise you will never be able to get onto the other side of where success is waiting for you. So ask yourself, second step, what is it trying to tell me? Again, I say it requires you to be very detached from the situation emotionally. I have had some people who actually said that, you know what, if I receive the same comment that you had, I would feel so hurt, I'll feel so upset. But that's because they take that comment as something that towards them. They take it as an attack. But I don't see it that way. Of course, I did initially, but I come to realize and actually understand from the other person's viewpoint that it is not me that they're upset. They're upset at a certain past. They're upset at a certain incident that wasn't resolved when they were younger, and it has nothing to do with me. So it's not about you as the person or the situation. It is always something that happened in the past and led to very uncomfortable memories or mental stories that they have told themselves. Okay, so step 1, step 2, and step 3, okay, I come to the C, challenging your beliefs. So again, I always say that belief is like a parking lot where there can only be one belief at a moment in time. It's just whether it's supportive of your dreams or not. And when there is a trigger or point of contrast, it means that there is always a gap. There is always a gap between where you want to be and where you're at right now. Where you want to be and where you're at right now. Your job is to actually bridge that gap. Okay, challenge your belief. Is it true that, for example, I get so triggered when I see someone not listening to me. Why? Because when I was younger, whenever I try to say something, I feel very unheard. I always get dismissed. So whenever I have conversations right now, even as an adult, when I have conversations with people and they just give me, like, they're not like fully focusing on me, maybe they're using their phone, maybe they gotta check an urgent message, I get very triggered. I get the message of like, I'm not being listened to, I'm not being heard, and I flare up at that person. And sometimes bonds break because of triggers, which is quite a sad thing, right? Because the person will be stuck in a karmic loop. Okay, I'm always trying to resolve this unresolved situation because they're always pinpointing the blame onto the person, onto that situation, not knowing that it was actually something that was unresolved for themselves. So challenging your belief, is it true that XXX is not listening to me? No, actually she's listening to me, but she has an urgent message to reply to, right? Another example, the mic. Another example, if I see someone trying to manage trying to do a lot in their career, and it means that they have given up on their home. It means that the home is a mess. It means that there's chaos at home. It means that their home life is imperfect because they have the mentality that there can only be success in one area of their life, which is the either or mentality, either home or career. So they will always be the ones playing small. And that is actually because when they were younger, stories were being told to them. They were brought up with the mindset that if you give up if you give up a career, then your home will be complete, right? But right now, when we actually look at it, no, because we are a whole being, right? And we seek fulfillment only to transfer the fulfillment in another area. What if success at home gives you success in career? What if success in career gives you success at home? Vice versa, because we are a whole being. We seek fulfillment in careers, at home, in personal, spiritual, money, faith, everything, health. You cannot say that I can be fat and unhealthy, but I have a lot of money and I'm happy. I don't believe there's anybody like that. Because health issues will still crop up to them. So, it is about, and that person will feel so triggered, especially when they see someone close to them, going for their dreams, go and fighting, kicking their ass in the workplace, because they'll be like, oh, if they're doing it in the workplace, it means that their home life is not perfect. It means that they're sacrificing the kids. Because those were stories that were told to us when we were younger. But when we actually look at the circumstance that our parents grew up in, it was much less supportive than what we have today. Okay, it was really, they were in survival mode, and when you're in survival mode, you would think about either or. But right now, in our generation, we can honestly be the very privileged ones to be enjoying and going for alignment, going for fulfillment, going for joy, which are, Maslow hierarchy, which is like that higher up there, that our parents weren't able to do that in the past. So that's why we have to detach from the stories that's being told to us, because it doesn't apply in our circumstance anymore, right? And if you're always holding on to that belief of the past, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, living in that of 70s, you are really missing out on life, man. You are really missing out on what is in store for you and what can be your biggest potential. So that's why you're always triggered when you're always seeing other people succeed, because there's a part of you that wants to have that freedom like them. Okay? Now, so then lastly, step 4 is, how can I show up better? Okay, asking how is better than why. We gotta ask ourselves better questions. Okay, we really gotta ask ourselves better questions. Why is that happening to me? Why can she do it and I can't? Why is this? Why are you the biggest, most negative person that I have ever met? Why is always a route to blame. Okay, you will never find a good answer from why. Then if that's the case, you may ask me, then Lydia, what kind of question should I ask myself? The bigger question to ask, which is very solution oriented, not blaming oriented, and that is when I talk about in my stories being problem obsessed versus opportunity obsessed. The problem obsessed person will always ask why, whereas an opportunity person will always say, how can I? Right? How can I versus why are you like that? Why is this happening to me? Why are they treating me that way? It's always finding a reason to blame versus how can I show up better? How am I responsible for this? How did I partake in this result? So when we actually ask ourselves a better question, we will always get ourselves better answers. So recently I had a friend 2 days ago. She was one of my best friends, and she asked me, like, she was going through a difficult situation with her helper, and it was a new helper, and she told me that, Lydia, like, of course best friends, right? But I did feel her energy really ready to listen to my suggestion, okay, before I give it before I share my solutions. And she was telling me, and she said that I come to realize that my new helper is not the smartest one. I gave her a bunch of instructions and she couldn't listen. And Sai, and maybe she's not as smart, she's kind of slow, she's not very productive. I have to tell her every single step. And I told her this, of course I listened to her suggestion, and I listened to her situation. And I took a while, okay, before I replied, and I said something like, do you think that, of course, maybe it is correct that she is not as smart as you think she is. Maybe her intelligence only stopped at a certain level, but that's a dead end. Nothing further, nothing solution oriented can come out from there. Everything that is like, that person is not smart enough, lor. I cannot do anything about the situation. It is what it is. The person is like that. It's just a dead end. You know what's a dead end? It's like a dead knot. There's nothing, like, you cannot go further to question. And if you cannot go further to question, you will never be able to reach to that point of solution-oriented solutions, right? Solution-oriented solutions, okay? And I told her, maybe it's true, maybe it isn't, because you're not a worm in her head and you only known her for 2 months. That is way too fast to come to that conclusion. And I asked her, I'm going to give you some humbling questions that you got to ask yourself is, how can I delegate better? How can I take responsibility for the way I communicate to her? Is there any areas that I can improve on? You see, instead of taking it from outside, you take it inwards. You start to ask yourself, is there some, because we cannot control other people. We cannot control situations. We cannot control life. The only person that we can control is ourselves. Okay, and that also controlling our feelings, controlling our thoughts. And when I actually go back to the earlier frame where I actually said belief equals to thoughts equals to action results and blah blah blah, we can only control our thoughts. So instead of telling yourself that she's not as smart, she's not really good, right? That maybe is true, maybe it isn't, okay, but it's a dead end and you cannot go anywhere beyond that. And then she gave me a really great response, which is like, oh, I feel so seen and recognized. She told me that is such great questions. And I said, yes, we are always in a haste to jump and point the gun at other people and to say it's other people's fault, because we do not want to take responsibility for what we can do. But the moment that we are able to look inwards and take responsibility, that's when the magic happens, because so much more things happen when you choose to be self-responsible, self-led, and self-initiative, which is of course the 3 key criteria that I have before I onboard and sign on any client. Self-responsibility, self-initiating, and self-led, which means that they don't blame the circumstance. They're always asking, but they're not self-blaming, okay? Self-blaming, but they're always asking themselves, how can I show up better? How can I be better? They're always asking themselves better questions rather than blaming, because blaming, victimizing is a dead end. You cannot go anything beyond that. And it's like, okay, I can't do anything about it, right? I mean, if you can't do anything about it, you'll never be able to go on to and get to your goals. So these 4 steps to replacing belief. Number 1, awareness, which shows up from triggers. Point of contrast, that ickiness, that wow, I really feel so uncomfortable. I go to bed, I can't sleep, right? Number 2, detach. What is it trying to tell me? Being detached from the situation, which of course there's specific strategy. When you're feeling in the heat of the moment and heat of anger, you have to release the emotions or the energy, the jealousy. You have to be detached and not be obsessed about the emotion before you're able to look at it objectively. It requires an objective eye. Okay, number 3, challenging your beliefs. Is it really true that this person is against me? Is it really true that they are trying to make life difficult for me? Okay, and lastly, the 4th question, how can I show up better? Asking how is better than why. Okay, And wow, I'm really so happy to be sharing so much wisdom. And if you watch on to this end, I'm just going to promote about my fast path to 2025, create your dream life in 2025. And this is a 10-day trial experience. If you are very moved and activated by whatever that I shared and what I said about self-led, self-initiative, and self-responsibility, you're like, yes, I'm tired of being victim. Yes, I'm tired of being helpless. I want to ask myself better questions so I get unstuck. Then yes, try out my fast day to 2025 10-day trial, which is an experience of how is it like when you onboard one-to-one coaching with me. Okay, and inside my I have more information on my Instagram because I have it on my link. Okay, I even have my pinned post about what fast pass is all about. In these 10 days you'll be able to experience the different ways that I do coaching. So one of it is, of course, there's three key ways. One is through a power call, which is at scheduled calls with clients, where I actually again, like whatever that I did with my friend was somewhat like a call, and what is it? Okay, power. Yes, a scheduled call, and then which can either be either Zoom or WhatsApp, and the other one which people love the most is my WhatsApp coaching support, which is my what I call one-to-one power chat. So you can be asking me questions on the go, through your life, and you're like, you know what, I really feel so down. How can I move on? And these actually, I realized that I did have some clients that did therapy work where they have to see a therapist or a counselor, and they told me that power chat was something that they really needed because thoughts come to us all the time. We are always stuck in situations and we need to access to someone on the go, right? But if they have to wait until like 1 month later or 2 months later, that situation would have already passed and they never get a chance to like have a do-over to their situation. So that one-to-one power chat, WhatsApp support is really useful because I'm able to give you like on the spot immediate like release of a mindset shift through your day. Okay, so I'm too triggered by my husband, I'm so triggered by my sister, by my mom, by my dad, by my colleague, right? And of course, the other third support that I have is self-study courses, which I have time freedom guide. I talk about mindset, energy. I talk about productivity, which is of course my stepping stone that I did when I started off as a coach 3 years ago. Productivity, how do you prioritize, how do you create energetic boundaries, and then the other one, which is a bonus playlist I just added, is about how to overcome fear. How do you handle overwhelm? What are limiting beliefs stopping you? Jam-packed with game-changing insights to how to handle fear. Because whenever fear or triggers happen, the first thing that we want to do is pretend it doesn't exist. Because it's a shadow of us, right? It's something nasty and it feels very uncomfortable. So we always want to avoid uncomfortable feelings. There's avoidant attachment. But the moment that we can shed light on it is the moment where we gain wisdom. We learn how to heal instead of being wounded all the time and carrying wounds on the back of our backs all the time. So my fast pass to 2025 is there, my 10-day trial. Go onto my Instagram to find out more. And I've come to the end of my 2-day power packed create your dream life in 2025. Everything starts with triggers, handling triggers, being aware, and then of course leading to change, replacing of belief, which is what I guide my one-to-one clients with, because the only way that you can shift out of the current reality that you do not love, it may be a job that you hate, it may be a toxic relationship that you deserve so much more, it can also be a better way, much better way of earning money, easier way, faster way, effortless way, whatever is breaking a relationship that you no longer want to be associated with. It all starts with mindset. Okay, all right. So that's the end of my power pack session, and you can look forward to more Facebook lives. Honestly, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this. Speaking of my head, and I do aim to have a monthly Facebook live event every month. It's just a topic I will alternate between social school and mindset success team, because I love social media as much as I'm talking about mindset. And so hang around on my Facebook to watch more, and I'll see you around. The replay of this can be found uh, on my Instagram link again. So I'm gonna put it up for, I think, until Chinese New Year, maybe. Okay, just let people access to as much of watching my content as much. Again, I don't know who's watching this. Okay, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know who you are. Please tell me, because I'll be like, oh yes, I know, I finally feel heard. But I just trust that whoever's meant to hear this will hear this and take away the insights that they can have to change their lives. See you.